BWF Solicitors, we take pride in our clients' service. As a niche law practice, we are conscious of the demands of our clients. We always offer a friendly, listening ear and sympathetic attitude. We've worked with thousands of people all across the UK in all areas of personal legal services. We have received great feedback and reviews from our clients. We are located at Seven Sisters in Tottenham on the 4th floor of the Anna House, right on top of the Victoria Line train station for your utmost convenience. We have a friendly office and provide all of the refreshments necessary while you wait to see a lawyer. We are dedicated to our clients and have a successful record of serving our clients. Solicitors of England and Wales are of high quality and are bound by the highest professional standards. We are officers of the court and are bound by standards of integrity, competence and conduct as part of our responsibility to uphold rule of law. Our solicitors and lawyers care about your case and are committed to providing the best possible service to you in the most considerate and careful manner. We hold 2 Law Society quality marks. Law Society accreditation helps to demonstrate that we have attained the requisite standard in the area of law and have the requisite expertise. BWF Solicitors, we're here to help you with your legal services when you need us.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege to have you guys with us yet again on Heritage TV, hanging out with Vicky. Today, as usual, is our legal hour every Saturday at 12 noon with BWF Solicitors. This program is sponsored by Victon Estates, your one-stop property agents for all your lettings, management, and sales in relation to properties. You can get in touch with them on 0744 8619711. Their website is victonestates.co.uk. We also have Eagle Heights International School supporting this program. It's an extra mass education center, and you can get in touch with the team on 0754370721. If you have any media requirements, be it covering your programs, if you want to advertise your business, or you want to be part of Heritage TV, maybe you want to start your own program, get in touch with Heritage TV and we'll be able to discuss with you the various packages we have. Yes, so I'll introduce my guest as usual, lawyer Eunice Achampong. She is a partner at BWF Solicitors, and she's here to talk to us about applying for naturalization after obtaining indefinite leave to remain. A lot of people have got their indefinite leave to remain for so many years and have no clue whether they can apply for naturalization. So I've got lawyer Eunice with us to answer those queries and also show you the guidelines step by step what to do to apply for your naturalization. So, welcome, lawyer Eunice.
Thank you so much, Vicky. It looks so good, your background and everything.
Definitely, yes. Yes.
I like that you are now in the studio.
Exactly, yes. So I believe that one of these days you will be joining me in the studio as well.
Of course.
Yes. And I hope the family are all good.
They are doing well.
Wonderful.
They are doing very well.
Wonderful. Okay. Lawyer Eunice, today we're talking about applying for naturalization after obtaining leave to remain. It amazes me, when I started advertising, informing people on social media what we'll be discussing today. And I had so many people sending me messages saying, I never knew I could apply for naturalization. they've
Wow.
been on indefinite leave to remain for so long a time,
Oh.
they never had a clue they could apply for naturalization. So
Wow.
today I know is going to give them more insight and information on how to go about it.
Definitely, definitely. And I think obviously it's one of those things that people who have lived here for such a long time and haven't needed to apply for British citizenship for any reason will always look and say, oh, okay, I didn't know this or I didn't know that. Now that I know, I can now make the application. So it's always good to have that information so that you'll be able to apply the information that you have for whatever circumstances you are in. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we just go straight to the first question. Laura Eunice, once someone has been granted indefinite leave to remain as a parent to a British child, how long do they have to wait before applying for naturalization?
Okay. So in this question, somebody probably who has been on leave to remain as a parent for such a long time. So either they've been on the 5-year route or the 10-year route. So, for instance, if they've been on the 5-year route as a parent, that means that when they were entering the UK, they came with leave to enter as a parent of a British child or a child who is settled in the UK. So that means that they would have acquired 2.5 years and then they would have had to apply for another 2.5 years leave to remain. And then once that 5-year period has ended, which is obviously 2.5 twice, then they can apply for indefinite leave to remain. Once you apply for indefinite leave to remain, usually under the immigration rules, you have to satisfy certain requirements. So that means that you would obviously have to show you still have that parental responsibility over that child. You are able to maintain that child financially. You're able to accommodate that child. Your leave did not expire before you made the application. And also that you were able to take the English language test and the life in the UK test before applying for indefinite leave to remain. So usually in that case, once you've applied for indefinite leave to remain, you are now asking yourself, okay, now that I have indefinite leave to remain, then I can go ahead and apply for naturalization because I've always wanted to be a British citizen. When you look at Section 6 of our British Nationality Act 1981, it says that anybody who is a full grown, or should I say, of full age, and has that capacity to apply to naturalize as a British national can do so. But this is at the discretion of the Secretary of State, who is currently Mrs. Priti Patel. And it will ask you for certain requirements when you go to Schedule 1 of the Act. But one of the things that obviously it asks for is that within the 12-month period before you apply for naturalization, you should have no restrictions on your leave. And usually that means that you should have had indefinite leave for a period of 12 months before making the application for naturalization. So once you've obtained indefinite leave to remain, you can apply for naturalization a year or 12 months after you've been granted indefinite leave to remain. And usually, if somebody were on the 10-year route as well to apply, obviously, I don't know the circumstances, but usually somebody who's on the 10-year route will be somebody who did not meet all of the requirements and therefore they were given 2.5 years, maybe because they came here illegally or they have overstayed their leave and they've now completed 2.5 years 4 times, which is 10 years, and therefore they are now applying for indefinite. So if they've applied for indefinite leave to remain, that means that they are looking towards maybe applying for naturalization. In that case, usually they will be looking at something called the good character requirement, because there will be restrictions in terms of somebody who has stayed here illegally or who has overstayed, and that will be considered as well in terms of the person's good character. So somebody like that will not be seen as somebody who's had good character, and so there will be a leave of about 10 years until they would be able to apply for naturalization, in terms of the fact that maybe they overstayed, and so from the moment obviously they came known to the Home Office, 10 years has to pass before they will be able to apply for naturalization. So those are two different circumstances, depending on which route they applied for indefinite leave to remain. If it's a 5 year route, usually 12 months after they will be able to apply for naturalization. If it's a 10-year route that they are on, obviously they have to look at the circumstances. If it's because they illegally entered the UK, or they were overstayers because they've come and then remained here after their leave has expired, then usually 10 years from the time they became known to the Home Office, uh, then they'll be able to apply for leave, or should I say naturalization, as a British citizen. So those are the circumstances, in which you'll be able to apply. So hopefully, I've been able to clarify the time restraints in terms of making an application for a person who's a parent who wants to apply for naturalization.
Okay. So, Lawyer Eunice, you said those who enter the country illegally
Mm,
can also apply. Does that
yeah.
mean if they are on indefinite leave to remain for 10 years after regularizing their stay in the country, how many
Mm-hmm.
years do they have to stay on the indefinite leave to remain to apply for naturalization for those who enter the country legally?
Okay, so for those who entered the country illegally, obviously once they've applied for indefinite leave to remain, usually they will say to you, yes, we know that after 12 months you can apply for naturalization, but unfortunately, because you came here illegally, so let's say you applied your indefinite leave, um, we are in September, so September 2020. And you know that when you were coming, you didn't come through the right channels, or maybe you came through a visit visa and now you've overstayed. So when you became known to the Home Office that you are now regularizing your stay, so your first 2.5 years, let's say that was sometime in 2020, September, you became known to them because you made an application to the Home Office to regularize your stay. And now you know that obviously you've been able to attain indefinitely to remain. Obviously, this is a period of 10 years, but you have to also consider the fact that there's a restriction for
Yes.
somebody who's acquired indefinite leave to remain. So you have to wait for 12 months before you can make the application, because you've already surpassed that 10-year period when you
Okay.
became known to the Home Office. So after a 12-month period, you can now naturalize as a British citizen.
Okay. And Lawyer Eunice, you
Yeah.
also make mention of good character. Can you give us
Yeah.
examples what they mean by good character? Because I'm
Okay.
thinking, what if you've got a contravention on your maybe a when you driving, maybe regarding your license, um,
Mm,
a lot of things, and
mm, mm,
you have to report at the police station. To what extent can they,
mm,
refuse you, saying that okay, you've got a speeding fine, or
mm,
probably you uh, uh, hit somebody, maybe in a relationship, you hit your wife, which was about 10
mm,
years ago, but it's on
mm.
record that this is what you did.
Yeah.
What are those things? If they say good character, what is a good character and what is not when it comes to applying for
Mm,
the naturalization?
yeah. Okay, so the good character requirement is not specifically defined in our British Nationality Act, but then we have what it is not. So if somebody is not of good character, usually the Home Office guidance would say that this is somebody who maybe for some reason has breached immigration rules. So, like I was saying, they've entered the country illegally,
Illegally.
or they've yes, or they've overstayed their leave, or somebody who, for instance, they believe has committed a criminal offense. So, in such a case, usually criminal offenses come with a custodial sentence, which is a prison sentence, or a non-custodial sentence, which is a fine or like community service or go and do this training here and there. So if you've committed a criminal offense, that will also be somebody who is not who is seen as not having good character. Or for instance, somebody who hasn't got the right financial, should I say, standing. So maybe they're bankrupt, or they have basically said to the loans providers that they don't have the money. They have been people who maybe are dishonest, or people who have been deceptive. So, for instance, they will collect benefits and they will not claim their actual income, and they've defrauded the system. Or people who may have NHS costs. So maybe they've said to the NHS, well, I came here illegally, you've given me this bill, I don't have the money to pay for it, so I'm not paying for it. People like this, definitely you will be seen as not having good character. So if you come and you're saying you want to make an application for naturalization, and then I ask you, okay, so is there anything that you would like to tell me about your character? Is there anything like any criminal offenses? Have you entered the UK legally? Have you overstayed? Have you paid all your debts? Or have you got any um, secrets behind the curtains that I need to know about? So things like this you need to say. So for some people, even a traffic offense, you need to disclose it. Some people think, oh, it's nothing. It happened like
Yes.
10 years ago, so I don't really need to disclose it. Unfortunately, even if it happened 20 years ago, you will still need to disclose it that this is what happened, however many years ago that it happened. When it comes to criminal offenses, they have certain bar periods for which
Okay.
obviously, hopefully, well, as I explain it, people will be able to have some understanding. So if they feel that you have committed an offense such as a driving over speeding, and you've got some penalty points, and obviously there are some people who wouldn't even want to pay the fine. The court has to write to them several times before they even try and pay the fine. And so in cases like that, we would say it's a non-custodial offense. And so you weren't taken to prison, but you had to pay the fine. And because the guidance is very strict about non-custodial sentences, they will say, well, let 3 years pass from the time that you acquired this non-custodial sentence, or fine, or community service, or whatever it is that you have. If 3 years pass from that time, you can now apply for naturalization. If, for instance, you committed an offense and it carried a prison sentence, so let's say it carried a prison sentence of like 9 or 12 months, then they would say, because you had this prison sentence, you would have to have had at least 15 years passed on from the time that
Okay.
you basically were given this sentence. And so usually in cases like this, it's very difficult for people who, for instance, have now become adults, and then they're thinking, okay, um, I now want to apply for naturalization. I have this background behind me, and I don't know if I will be able to apply for naturalization because of what happened in my past. Obviously, if that time period has passed, then you can look forward to making that application for naturalization as well. Um, it's different for different types of offenses. So for someone who was illegal or who came to overstay their visit visa, that period of 10 years has to pass from the time they became known to the Home Office. So if it's, let's say, you made an application for 2.5 years, like I was given before in 2010, and 10 years have passed, and you now have indefinite leave to remain after the 12-month period of having no restrictions on your leave, which is having your indefinite leave to remain, then you can make the application. So depending on the circumstances, there may be a bar period that you may have to basically know, and then commit yourself to making the application later on. For somebody who probably has committed an offense and was given a prison sentence of 4 years or more, then definitely that person is looking at a total refusal, unless there is something that you can show was something that happened whilst you were maybe in your teenage years, not within your adult years. Then they would have to use their discretion. But in situations like that, that application will normally be refused because you were given a sentence of 4 years or more. So different circumstances would require different bar periods. Yeah.
I think the Home Office will go to the extent of checking your credit file.
Of course, they have to,
Really?
because because sometimes there are some people who will not declare that they are bankrupt, or they will not declare that they have loans or debts amassing to
CCJs?
a certain.
CCJs?
So, usually, do you know what? I know that because they're government departments, so they obviously liaise with each other. And like I said, acquiring naturalization is a privilege and is a discretion by which the Secretary of State is able to grant to an adult person. So if for any reason you don't want to disclose it, they have every right to check it, because you basically give your consent that you want your information to be verified by the Home Office. So if you do sign and you give your consent, then they have every right to obviously make those checks as well.
Okay. All right. Right. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Laura Eunice, how about somebody who is in and out of the country on several occasions whilst, during the qualifying period? How would this person also qualify to apply for the naturalization? Let's say traveling in and out of the country every 3 months.
Mm, mm. I think in regards to our British Nationality Act as well, another criteria that you have to meet is the fact that you have been here for a qualifying period of either 5 years or 3 years. So, for instance, when you're making the application for naturalization, I would either say, are you doing it as an individual, or based on the fact that you've been married to, let's say, a British spouse for the past 3 or 5 years? So if we are looking at a qualifying period of 5 years, usually we are saying that during that 5 year period, you've lived here legally or lawfully. And if you've lived here lawfully, another criteria that the British Nationality Act is going to request from you or ask of you is that you are able to show that within the 5 year period, you are able to show that you haven't been absent from the UK for at least 450 days. I mean, this is, I would say, calculating that it will be about a period of um 15 months thereabouts. So 450 days within a 5 year period. So maybe you shouldn't have been out of the country for at least 3 months in every year. And then in the last year before you make the application for naturalization, which is the period in which you have acquired indefinite leave to remain, they don't want you to be absent for a period of 90 days or more. So, for instance, you've said you want to apply for naturalization, but within that period, you're saying that you've traveled more than the 90 days, which is a period of 3 months. And usually, if you are able to give a very good reason as to why that period has amassed to that, then they can waive it. So they may have periods where they can waive. So, for instance, if you meet all the other requirements, so you are somebody who has reached full age, you have full capacity, you are able to show that you have indefinite leave for a period of 12 months, you meet the English language requirement and the life in the UK requirement. But it's just the fact that you have been absent for more than the 450 days or the 90-day period within the 12 months, then they are able to excuse a period of about 480 days to about 900 days. So if you have a reasonable excuse, they have that discretion to waiver that absence. So they are looking at things like, have you formed your family life here? Have your family, come to live in the UK? Do they have settlement? Is your business here? Have you basically made the UK your principal home? So they'll be looking at all other factors, and if obviously you meet all the other requirements, they may waive that period where you were absent for more than the 450 days that they were requested. And obviously, during this corona period, a lot of people were also stuck in various countries. And so, one thing that I think has been good about this government is that they've made so many concessions during this period, and they wouldn't let it go against you if you were to apply for naturalization, but then for some reason you're not able to meet that 90-day period that they are requesting. So, for instance, you've been out of the country for 5 months because of this COVID-19, they wouldn't let that go against you. So that's another good thing about this, should I say, concessions that the government have also brought about during this COVID period. Yeah.
In a nutshell, all they want to establish is to naturalize as a British citizen, you should be living in this country more than outside the country.
Yes, definitely. And so, as much as possible, if you can basically show them, so if you can show them, well, I've lived here for this period of time, I've continuously worked with this company, I have my employment history, I have my P60s, I basically have my family here with me, maybe my husband and my children, they're all settled here. The UK is my principal home, and you are able to show them that, yes, for some reason, that period was more than I expected, but I have good reason why this happened. And so, if they are able to see from whatever evidence you're able to present to them that obviously this place is your principal home, then I'm sure they can waive that period of absence, like I said.
Take the English language test and life in the UK before applying for the naturalization. Do you have to take the English language test and life in the UK before applying? And the second question linked to this is, if your education level is up to like you've got a degree, do you also have to take the English language test and life in the UK test as well?
Okay. So in terms of the English language test and the life in the UK, that's also another requirement under the British Nationality Act Schedule 1. So it says that you should be able to meet knowledge of life in the UK and language as well. So if for one reason or the other, you may not have the English language test or the life in the UK. So that's for people, for instance, who may not have had to do it because they didn't apply for indefinite leave under the usual parent route or the usual partner route. usually if you're applying for indefinite leave under the parent rule or partner rule, you will have to do the English test at level B1. That means that obviously you're an independent speaker, and obviously if you have a degree which is an undergrad degree, a master's degree, or a PhD degree, then you will be exempt from doing the English language test at a level B1. So for people who may not have done this when they did their application for indefinite leave to remain, they would either have to show that they have an undergrad degree which was taught in English, and if it wasn't taught here in the UK, you need it to be NARIC certified, that it meets the criteria they're looking for, which is a level B1 of the common European framework of reference that they have. So it's a great skill. And so level B1 is what they are looking for. Or you have to show that you have taken that English language test by the approved institution and it's at a level B1. So if you are not able to show that you've got an undergrad degree or a master's degree or a PhD, then you have to do the English language test. And then in terms of the life in the UK, if you haven't taken that one when you were applying for your indefinite leave to remain, then you would have to show that you have taken the life in the UK test and you have passed. I think currently the pass mark is, I think, like 19 out of 24, something like that. So you will also have to pass the life in the UK test as well. And with that one, usually if you've taken it even 10 years ago, you can still use it to say that, yes, you were able to pass it 10 years ago. There's no expiry date to it. So you did it a long while back, but you just didn't have the willingness to apply for naturalization. But now you want to apply for naturalization and you have your life in the UK test results. And so you want to use that. And if you have to take the English language test, then you take that at a level B1 in order to meet the criteria that they're looking for. So there might be people whose undergrad degree surpasses the level B1 that they're looking for. So it could be a level B2, a level C1, and that's great. So if it's above the level B1 that they are looking for, then definitely you know that you are off to a good start. So if for any reason you haven't got the undergrad or master's or the PhD, then definitely do the English language test at level B1 and the life in the UK. Those two come hand in hand when you are making the application as well.
And I think I have to clarify as well that having an undergraduate degree, master's or PhD, should be a UK recognized university. Someone can come from Africa or any part of the, of Europe and say, oh, I've got a degree in this is that in a university. So am I right to say it should come from a UK recognized university?
So usually if it's not from a UK recognized university, as I said, if it's from outside the UK, it has to be NARIC certified. So you have to confirm with NARIC, is NARIC, and say to them, this is the certificate I have. Can you please confirm if it meets the required level? And obviously, I think there's a fee that you pay for a NARIC certificate. And once it comes back, then you'll be able to use that. So a NARIC certificate is very important for anybody who has taken a degree outside the UK.
Wonderful. Okay. And Lorraine, I've got a question coming up. I think you spoke about it. It's from Charles. So he's saying does character play a role on how successful the application will be? Is character, the bigger part of, is it a bigger chunk on what they base it on for your application to be successful?
I mean, it depends on what the person has done, isn't it? So if if you know that, well, what you've done, maybe in your eyes is not that bad or it's not that serious. If you think that it's not that serious, come and speak to a lawyer. So, as I was explaining, there are certain criteria that they look at in terms of good character. So, either that, for instance, you haven't got good financial standing, or you've been dishonest, you've been deceptive, or for instance, you've breached immigration rules by being somebody who entered the UK illegally, or for instance, you overstayed your visitor's visa, or for any for one or two reasons, you think that, well, I've come into this country, I was ill and I needed the NHS help, and so they brought me this bill. I don't want to pay it because I think that now I've got my documents, I don't need to pay it. All those things come towards whether that person is a good character or someone of good character or not. And as I was saying, there's no definition, but there are factors that they look at in terms of whether to classify a person as somebody who is of good character or somebody who is not of good character. So, if, like the example you gave, you've got a traffic fine and you have to pay that fine, and you you think to yourself, oh, but that was nothing, it was just the fine that I
Exactly.
had to pay, and you don't think that you should disclose it because it was just something small. You still have to disclose it because to them that will warrant you having a 3 year bar period where you can't apply for naturalization until that time has passed.
Mm.
And then obviously, if you're looking at somebody who entered the UK illegally or who has overstayed their visa visa, they're looking at 10 years from the time that person became known to the Home Office as well. So sometimes, depending on what you have done, then you'll be able to basically know whether you can apply or when to apply. I mean, there are some situations you have to just seek legal advice because you can't assume. You have people who said, "Oh, I used different names when I was coming. I've even used different names whilst I was in the UK. I didn't want them to know. I don't want to declare it. All of those things will be seen as being deceptive or dishonest
Deceptive,
if
yeah.
you don't disclose it. So if you use Abna Sewa when you were coming and then you started using Sewa Sewa and now your name is Akos, just let them know. Let them know that you came in with Abna Sewa and you were using Akos and you used it to make whichever application that you did before, and now that you've got your indefinite leave to remain, you want to apply for naturalization. Let them know
Okay.
all of those things, and then, I mean, as the time period has passed, they will definitely grant you naturalization.
Okay. How about somebody who um, came on a visitor's visa, and
Mm,
when he came, he or she decided not to go back again. Now,
mm.
the person remained here until he or she was able to apply for leave to remain. In this instance, would that affect such a person when they want to apply for naturalization?
I have tons of examples of this. So people will come, they'll say, "Oh, I came here illegally, and then I finally got my papers and I got my indefinite leave, let's say 8 years ago or 10 years ago. How would this affect me if I want to apply for naturalization?" And they've had indefinite leave for quite a long period of time.
Yeah.
And for instance, let's say they came into this country in 1998, and obviously they used their visa visa, they overstayed, and now they've obviously regularized their stay, they've got indefinite leave to remain, and they want to now naturalize, but they're not sure if that period of overstaying, so let's say maybe they overstayed for 3 or 5 years before they were able to regularize their stay. they're not sure if that is going to really affect them. So usually what the Home Office guidance says is that once you became new to the Home Office, that you overstayed and now you want to regularize your stay, 10 years from that time when you became known to the Home Office, then we would say that that period has passed, and so you can now apply for naturalization. So if you are somebody who has now gotten your indefinite leave to remain, or you got your indefinite leave to remain about 10 years ago, and you're thinking, how would this affect me? 10 years have passed from the time, obviously, since you came into the Home Office, and you have that, should I say, eligibility to now apply, because that period of 10 years that they were classifying you under has now passed. So if you've held your indefinite leave for the past 8 years or 10 years, don't feel afraid to now make the bold step of applying for naturalization. That period has passed and you are eligible. You don't have to now think to yourself, this is going to also cut down, or they will be refused if they see that I overstay. That period of 10 years will count from the time you became known to the Home Office. So it should be fine when you apply.
And Lawyer Eunice, can you tell? I think this
Yeah.
is a funny question. How far
Mm,
back would the Home Office go to check, as in connection to character? This is very, very important because in
mm,
our community, a lot of people overlook petty things which results in people getting CCJs. I know of somebody who just £13 mobile phone bill was overlooked, and because of this, it's accrued, and that person has got a CCJ on his or her credit file. Now, how far
well, yeah.
back do they go to check? Is it 20 years back, 10 years back, or 5 years back? Or we can't just tell? If they decide to go as far back as
Unfortunately,
when you enter the country.
unfortunately, you can't just tell. I have a situation on my desk, and this person, unfortunately, for one reason or the other, came here within the 1980s, and she fraudulently obtained a British passport, and she was using it until finally somebody realized on the system, you're using somebody's name as yourself, and this is not you. And they caught on
Really?
to it. Yes, as to how they caught on to that, I am not exactly sure. But they caught on to it and they refused to reissue her another British passport. So with them, you cannot tell. Unfortunately, I can't tell you that they will stop at 20 years, or they will stop at 30 years, or they will stop at 40 years. If you
Wow.
if you know that you have something on your record and it has to be disclosed,
Okay.
please just disclose it, because if they do their digging and they find out, and for instance, you've already acquired that British citizenship, they can either deprive you of it later on, or just seize the passport from you. So yes, I can't tell you how far back they will go, but I can tell you they can go as far back as you think they wouldn't go. Yeah,
I think what I
yeah.
can also say to advise anybody who is at the moment on leave to remain and is thinking of probably in a couple of years' time to apply for
Mm,
naturalization, if you have any issues with your character, I would like to focus on especially your credit file. I think it's about time you go back and try sorting things out and not just leave it to be hanging there. It's very, 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 very vital. And Lawyer Eunice, I think time is fast spent, so we'll go on this last question. Can you please take us through the application process? A lot of people are waiting to hear this, and I decided to bring it, leave it till getting to the end of the show.
of course, of course. I think with most people, as you would know, most of the application processes since last year have become electronic. So everything nowadays is by is done online. So it's not a paper application anymore like we used to know. We just fill out the form and then send it off. So everything is now done online. There's the form AN1, which is the form for anybody who would like to naturalize as a British citizen. So if you go onto the internet and you type in form AN1, or you go into the .gov.uk website, you can also find form MN1 on there. Once you go into the form, it will ask you for your details. So if you have a passport, it will ask for your passport details, it will ask for your name and the rest of it. And then it will also ask for things like how long you've resided in the UK. So at least you should have resided here for a period of 5 years lawfully. And then the last year being the 12-month period where you held indefinite leave to remain. And it will ask you when you acquired your indefinite leave to remain. For EA nationals, it will ask when you acquire permanent residence or settled status, as we now call it. And then obviously will ask you for any period of absences. So if you've been in and out of the country, your period that you were in and out of the country, as I said, usually they're looking at a 450-day period within that 5 years. But if it was more than that, obviously you should have some reasonable explanation as to why it was more than the 450 days or more than the 90 days within that 12-month period. So I'm quickly assuming that 450 days may be about 15 months within that 5-year period. And then if you are able to show that obviously you've had indefinite leave to remain, you've built your home here in the UK, you are able to show that at least maybe your employment records will be able to suffice, that you as a person of good character, you've worked with that same employer for the past let's say 5 years, and you are able to show that this person can also be your referee, because it will ask you for people who can be referees or who can testify to you. And so they would usually need 2 people to fill in or to complete that referee section. And so once you've completed the whole application process, it will then ask you for your consent. So it will say fill in this declaration page to give the Home Office the right to make any check or every check that it needs to make regarding your application. And you know, to the best of your knowledge, that whatever information you have put in this form is correct. Obviously, I forgot to also mention that it will ask about your life in the UK and your English language test as well. So you would need to put in the reference numbers for those certificates, or you need to put in the electronic number if you don't have a certificate for the life in the UK or the English test. And then it will obviously take you to the payments and the fact that you need to book an appointment. And currently, as the situation stands, you can register on the UKVCAS website, but you wouldn't be able to book an appointment yet until you've been sent an email that you can book an appointment for whatever application you have submitted. So it's a form AN1, and it will need your identification details, it would need your residence details, it would need information as to whether you're a person of good character, you don't have any criminal records, you are not known to have any terrorist activities, to have known to have done any terrorist activities, you are somebody who has not been absent for more than the period that they have stated. And obviously will also ask you to give information regarding some referees, or at least 2 referees. And then obviously, once you have completed, it will ask you to sign and give your consent to the Home Office to do their checks as they should. And so usually in applications like this, you'll be sending your passport, if you have a biometric card which states your indefinite leave to remain, you'll be sending that with it. If you don't have a biometric card and it's in your passport, it will be just your passport. If you have different passports which show that over the period of 5 years you traveled in and out of the country, then you'll be showing those passports as well. You'll be showing that the passports have stamps in them that show when you went in and when you came back into the UK. And then in terms of your residence in the UK, you'll be showing your things like your employment history or your bank statements. It could be things like your let's say your NHS letters or anything that provides that proof of address for a continuous period of 5 years. And then obviously you'll be giving them the forms for your referees as well. If you want to obviously show that you've been married over that period, you can also send your marriage certificate and documents that show that maybe your husband is British or your children here are also settled and British if it's relevant. And then you obviously submit the form online. And then once they want your documents, they will email you to ask you to either scan it, or once you've been able to do your biometrics, which is your fingerprints and your photograph, they will tell you to upload your documents onto that page. So you upload your documents onto the web page, and then hopefully within a period of 12 weeks, they should be able to make a decision on your application. Yeah, so that's the online naturalization process.
Okay. All right. So, Lawyer Eunice, does this mean that when applying for the naturalization, you don't need a solicitor since everything is done online?
You can do it online, but there are some people, like I said, they obviously are afraid to do it because of certain things that may have happened along the way. So they might need advice as to whether they can do this application. And with them, they are not confident. So they always want a solicitor or a legal representative to complete the application on their behalf. And there are some people who would say, do you know what? I am not very computer literate. I need help completing this application. So can you help me complete it? Because at the end of the day, there will be people who would say, yes, even if I am literate, I am not sure whether I'm doing the right thing. So can you please help me with this? And so we can complete the application on behalf of applicants, and we also offer a check and send service as well.
Eunice, thank you so much for doing justice to this topic. Done very, very
Thank
well. I've
you.
understood everything, and I think I'm even more confident to also give an advice, even though I'm not a legal
Advice,
representative,
yes.
but at least something like that I know a little bit about,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
process. But then again,
Yeah.
if you need professional help, definitely you have to head towards BWF solicitors. They also won an award in London. It's for South London, isn't it?
Yes, so in the whole of Southeast England,
South
we
East
won
England.
yes, we won an award as the best immigration law firm. And that was something that just came out of the blue, especially during this COVID period. It was such a great honor for us to receive that award. And I'm so grateful to obviously the small and medium-sized business enterprise for giving us this award. And obviously, we have our senior partner, Mr. Bernard Owusu, in line for the Black British Enterprise Awards as well.
Yes.
So
Yes.
hopefully, I mean, things will just fall into place.
I've
Yeah.
got my champagne ready anyway. Lawyer Eunice, just give us your address, where people could
Yes.
come to. As we've talked about this, I know a lot of people really didn't know they could apply for naturalization. So anybody who from today wants to apply for their naturalization, give them your number, details, direction for them to come and see you, for you to
Okay.
help them.
So, as Vicky said, I'm from BWS Solicitors, and we are situated in Seven Sisters, so we are not far from the main Seven Sisters station. If you take the exit 2, we are on your right. So exit 2, there's a large building on the right. It's the fourth floor of Anna House. So it's 214 to 218 High Road, which is the Tottenham High Road, London, N15 4NP. And our postcode is N15 4NP. Our main offices open from Monday 9:30 to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, and our office number is 0208 493 7340. So 0208 493 7340. And my number, which is an out of office number, is 075 3581 3910. So hopefully a lot of people would have taken something out of this. And if you have any further queries, definitely give me a call. Thank you so much, Vicky.
Thank you so much, Lawyer Eunice. As usual, dedicated your time, sacrifice to be with us this afternoon to educate us and give us guidance. We thank you so much. Send my regards to Uncle Ben and all the team.
I will.
I wish you all the best for this weekend. Take good care of yourself. Stay safe.
You too.
And I'll hopefully see you next week, 12 noon sharp.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Lawyer
Yes.
Ladies and
Thank
gentlemen,
you.
so
Have a great day as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we've all heard from Lawyer Eunice, partner of BWS Solicitors and a lawyer as well, taking us through, applying for your naturalization, after having your leave to remain. I've learned so much, and I believe you've also learned a lot. Join us again next week, Saturday, 12 noon, and we will bring you another educative program. Take care of yourself, stay safe, have a lovely day.
At BWF Solicitors, we take pride in our client service. As a niche law practice, we are conscious of the demands of our clients. We always offer a friendly, listening ear and sympathetic attitude. We've worked with thousands of people all across the UK in all areas of personal legal services. We have received great feedback and reviews from our clients. We are located at Seven Sisters in Tottenham on the 4th floor of the Anna House, right on top of the Victoria Line train station for your utmost convenience. We have a friendly office and provide all of the refreshments necessary while you wait to see a lawyer. We are dedicated to our clients and have a successful record of serving our clients. Solicitors of England and Wales are of high quality and are bound by the highest professional standards. We are officers of the court and are bound by standards of integrity, competence and conduct as part of our responsibility to uphold rule of law. Our solicitors and lawyers care about your case and are committed to providing the best possible service to you in the most considerate and careful manner. We hold 2 Law Society quality marks. Law Society accreditation helps to demonstrate that we have attained the requisite standard in the area of law and have the requisite expertise. BWF Solicitors, we're here to help you with your legal services when you need us.